समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
National Interest this week has a teaser headline of Minimum Trump, Maximum Modi. And before I go deeper into that, it's also my time to remind you, after a very long time, that you have to maximize your contribution to the print. That journalism of this quality and unhyphenated journalism cannot work in vacuum. It cannot work without contribution, without subscriptions, paid subscriptions from good fellow Indians like you. So please do it wherever you are. If you are in India, if you are overseas, please do make a generous contribution. There will be many benefits for paid subscriptions. Please do that because that is critical to keep independent, unhyphenated journalism growing, and we all know how vital that is for any democracy. That said, back to our theme of minimum Trump, maximum Modi, and why do we say that? So think about this. At around the same juncture of history, when Donald Trump has armed Elon Musk with a flamethrower to gut his bureaucracy from inside, the Modi government has notified the 8th Pay Commission. The first is dramatic, if quite chaotic, campaign to minimize government at all costs. The second is a significant expansion of the government and national wage bills, timed with the 2029 elections in India. Both won power more or less on the same promise. We'd prefer Modi's words: minimum government, maximum governance. You need no better evidence of the dramatic divergence in the two leaders' approach to governance and its costs. Trump is the insurgent who sees the career civil servants as evil. They are assured a full career of service, irrespective of who wins or loses elections. They govern or help the government by following the set of rules and norms. By definition, this calls for no political or ideological loyalty. That's the case with Indian civil services also. In fact, that is absolutely abhorred in this system. In the Trumpian view, however, this is an obscenity. It's the unchallenged reign of the unelected, as they say, unelected, and he will take no more of it. So he will burn it down. For Modi, the career civil servant represents both continuity and change and further loyalty. There is no real problem with our administrative structure and personnel as long as they adapt with the politics of the day. The reason we have seen the greatest empowerment of the selected by UPSC bureaucracies in the Modi era. The constitution of the 8th Pay Commission is just a metaphor. Under Modi, the central government has expanded at a breathtaking pace. For evidence, go for a before and after spin in the larger New Delhi region, not just the Latvian zone, and see how many new bhavans have come up. In Trump's America, his newly appointed FBI chief, Kash Patel, made his fame by promising to demolish the FBI headquarters in Washington and either laying off most of its personnel or scattering them across the US, especially into Alabama. It will be Indian equivalent of sending the personnel of CBI, NIA and more of such agencies to Kushinagar or Sonbhadra in Uttar Pradesh, or maybe Medak in Telangana or Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh. But see the contrast in India. The National Investigation Agency has a stunning new and massive bhavan of its own in the CGO complex by the side of the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. The Delhi police has a swanky new home in the heart of Lutyens while retaining its original one in the ITO area. The Enforcement Directorate had its own building built now. The new building is way better than its original office in Loknayak Bhavan next to Khan Market. Loknayak Bhavan, to be fair, is a Sarkari slum. No human beings deserve to work there. I am hoping it is earmarked for demolition in the rebuilding of the Lutyens Delhi. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, is among those occupying one of the towers in the new red sandstone mini city behind the INA market and abutting the Barapula flyover in Delhi. The National Green Tribunal is now a massive New Delhi bureaucracy with a bhavan of its own, a whole proliferation of green practitioners of green laws. It has its own big bhavan on Copernicus Mark, and zonal centers are now sprouting across the country. Nobody would bother to do a performance audit on such privileged new bureaucracies. Forget taking the flamethrower to them. In fact, you don't need any performance audit. The state of the environment and the impact of the NGTs, if any, you can see, feel, and smell all for yourself. Similarly, at the center and in the states, all relatively new institutions, not necessarily founded under Modi government, have seen a breathless expansion and bhavanization. Count Central Information Commission, the states have their own, Lokpal at the center, Loka Ayuktas in the states, and the many tribunals. Turn your attention then to the government being in business. Barring the sale of Air India, almost all CPSEs, that is Central Public Sector Enterprises, have not only remained intact under Modi government, they have seen massive new investments with taxpayer money. This year's budget has earmarked 5 lakh crores for further investments in CPSEs. Attacked by Rahul Gandhi often for selling out to PSUs, Modi has himself spoken multiple times underlining how much better they've done under him. The center just promised to invest another 11,440 crores into Vizag steel plant, which had been on the privatization list for almost 2 decades now. Just how well have the CPSEs done? While the broader indices, Nifty and Sensex, have fallen about 13% from their peak, the CPSE index has crashed. Hold your breath and cry for your tax money, about 30%. That amounts to a neat loss of about 13 lakh crore rupees. That is 13 trillion rupees. This comes to about $148 billion. Of course, it's all notional, but the point is made. Think about what India could do with that kind of money. Build a full north-south bullet train, multiply several times the amounts paid in PM Kisan Samman to India's farmers, or maybe buy 2 squadrons of those F-35s and also have Trump smile. You can read these details and more in this story by TCA Sharad Raghavan. You will see a screenshot and I am giving you a link with the description. He's got the data and the graphics. Please do note also that while the Congress has traditionally been statist, it's the BJP leaders whose favorite line over the decades has been "This desh ka raja vyapari, uski praja bhikhari." In a nation whose king is a businessman, the subjects become beggars. In the Modi era, the belief is that there is nothing wrong with the government, nothing wrong with Bharat Sarkar, except that it needs to be run better. And of course, who can run it better than us? That the civil services are unelected is actually seen as a good thing, contrary to Trump. Ideological purity would be great, but where it isn't available, there are always tools to make the civil servants fall in line for reward or punishments. The best postings, empowerment, and if you are really valued, if a life of almost no retirement. After flirting with the idea of bringing specialists into key positions, for example RBI and SEBI, Modi government is back to the trusted IAS now. The direct recruitment at joint secretary level is an idea that disappeared so fast that we almost never saw its time come. There is some brave process going on under economist Sanjeev Sanyal now, as this story by Maushami Dasgupta shows. Again, I will share a link with you. And this is a process to at least abolish a whole bunch of new bodies set up as Sarkari employment programs in the last 50-60 years. It's a good initiative. Just note that in our system, nobody loses their jobs. They just get reallocated elsewhere. And you know what they've said forever in Punjabi, Jade Lahore pehde, o Peshawar bhi pehde. One who's useless in Lahore is also a disaster in Peshawar. The joke is on the taxpayer and the joke is on the exchequer. In the Modi cabinet now, the key positions now from external affairs to petroleum, railways, information technology, I&B and more are with former civil servants. The Modi system's comfort lies exactly where the Trumpian hate begins. We aren't saying what's better or worse because who knows where Trump's slash and burn will leave America. We are only making the point that Trump and Modi approaches to building governance structures stand in exact contrast with each other. For Modi BJP supporters, deep state is some amorphous, mysterious entity including global foundations, the Soroses of the world, Bill Gates, Soros and all, left activist corporates, those are the ones, and investors, left activist corporates and investors, those are the ones, and also intelligence proliferations working in cahoots with them, trying to destabilize some parts of the world. The Trumpian conception of the deep state, contrarily, is the house where the unelected civil servants live, whose careers transcend the tenures of many presidents and who won't bend to politics. The Trumpian conception of the deep state, contrarily, is the house where the unelected civil servants live, whose careers transcend the tenures of many presidents and who won't bend to political will. He must burn it down immediately. Ideally, he would do this with his judges also if he had the power. Trump and Modi are two very different leaders, armed with contrasting political method and style. It's fascinating how this reflects in their view of governance and, more importantly, to the entity called government. One is wrecking it while the other continues expanding it.